show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/awesomecast. Time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitter here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, with you today for AwesomeCast 640. And we have with us, first of all, from Studio Duds, is the Dudders.
Hello, friends.
It's Fancy Hair Day.
Good haircut day.
Yes. So
very fancy.
It's very vertical.
Give me those few extra inches.
Futures. There you go. There you go. How are you doing? You were off of your adventures in Dungeons and Dragons land with the pro wrestlers this weekend?
Oh yeah, so much fun. That was a blast.
Part of Top Rope Tabletop over on the IndieWrestling.us YouTube if anybody wants to check that out. And you're a newbie to Dungeons and Dragons too, right?
Yeah. Yes. It's what was it, third or fourth time I played.
That's awesome.
I don't know if they knew I was that new, so we'll just not.
No. We didn't expose you on that one. So, and also back with us, it's been a while, Brian Crawford of pghmuseums.org.
Excuse me one second. I'm getting through the perfect pepperoni slice for this podcast here from Slice.
That's right.
I'm happy to be back. I love it. I've been missing coming on here. I got to come on more often.
It's been a while, we're getting used to people like actually coming in the studio again. It's still not at 100%. You know what I mean? It's just still like, hey, no, you can come in. Like we're just out of habit. I think is the biggest thing, right?
I always like to go. I'm an in-person kind of guy when I can.
Exactly. But you've been busy too with everything.
I have.
We've all been busy. So, anyways, but this is the AwesomeCast. You can join us every Tuesday at AwesomeCast. I'm sorry, every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern on the AwesomeCast Facebook, YouTube, and the Sorgatron Media Twitch page. We got chat rooms up for all, so you can be a part of this. You can also email us at awesomecast@sorgatronmedia.com. Tweet us at AwesomeCast. Join the Facebook group. A lot of great stories are shared throughout the week. We also do have a Discord and a Reddit if you want to share. We're sharing stuff too as well. You can follow us on the Mastodon server. I need to make a note to remember to say that. AwesomeCast at sorgatronmedia.social, and you can follow all the Sorgatron Media groups over there. And of course, please subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. And there's a Sorgatron Media master feed that's got us, as well as our Wrestling Mayhem show, Fishing Without Bait, and our friends at A Gay and His Envy. So you can check all of that out in one handy dandy feed. And also thanks to our partners over at postindustrial.com for sharing the show, and thank you to our Patreon supporters, including executive producer Brian.
Hey.
And at the Coffee Club level, Matt Weller, Cynthia Klosky, and the returning Patreon member, John Dicky DeGore. I'm so glad I get to see that again. And also at the fan of the show level, Michael Fedor, Professor Buzzkill, and Dave Podner, spouse of Roost Jewelry Affair at roostjewelryaffair.com. He's done this to me on both shows, by the way. But he clips all those clips that pop up on the Twitter page, so the video clips of the show. So he deserves it. You guys can also, and as the hint, you can have a little plug in your mention as it is. Brian, is there anything you would like me to say as part of your especially at the executive producer level? I guess I should be mentioning pghmuseums.org on your mentions every week.
That would work.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's
do that.
Brian Crawford of we're live editing on the air. This will be great. Of pghmuseums.org. There you go. Because I think you were there under. You were under as pghmuseums.org, so I automatically said it.
So that's kind of how that all happened. I was on there as PGH Museums. Somehow it disappeared. I didn't cancel it, but somehow it just stopped. And then I felt bad, so I'm like, I'm gonna give it an extra punch. And
Well, it was sometimes like things with credit cards and they'll just
Yeah.
phase out and stuff, and people don't notice or something like that. So, and we don't do a lot of, unfortunately, exclusive-y stuff. So I deserve it. Clap, 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 says Podder in the chat room over there on Facebook. Anyways, you guys can support the show too at patreon.com/AwesomeCast. And I just forgot what my that's right. Okay, I forgot what my awesome thing was for a second. Well, while I collect myself here, Dutters, what's your awesome thing?
It's Bird Buddy.
What's a bird buddy?
So I have a bird feeder and the whole suet thing and bird bath outside because I love watching birds. I have a book that I identify birds with. Yeah, I'm all into birding. Love it. Yard birding. And I could watch birds taking a bath all day long. But I saw this. It's called Bird Buddy. And what it is, you've probably seen by now the bird house or the bird feeders that have the camera on them, and the camera will take a picture of the bird, or you can watch the bird when it comes to the feeder. What's really cool about this one is it also uses AI, which this is a super nerdy Bird Buddy here. And what it does is it identifies the look of the bird. It will tell you have a visitor, for one. And then two, it'll tell you, identify what kind of bird it is. And you can unlock birds as you go. So like, oh, have I seen a cardinal before? And you can look through your stuff and go, oh, I haven't yet. But in the future, so it was an original Kickstarter, and then they've reintroduced it. So there's going to be new features added. Like they're going to be able to identify the bird by the sound it makes, its call. So it's like the Pokemon of Pokemon Go bird feeders.
Except the real Pokemons.
Yep. But it's all there's an app it's on Google Play, it's in the App Store. So I mean, either, no matter what you have, you can do it. And they said, I love the fact that it's like, it's a nice camera. It's going to recognize the bird and tell us what kind of bird it is. And I would get nothing done because I would just watch every time I get a notification, like, you have a bird visitor, to see what they look like. I'd be like watching birds all day long. But I think I want this. It's on sale now.
I kind of want to just replace one of my mom's bird feeders out in the country with this. So I feel like, ooh, first question, is it squirrel proof? After a lot of research and consultation, we've come to the conclusion that any attempt to prevent squirrels from visiting would be a futile task. They've seen that video with the obstacle course.
I know the secret. I have the secret to get rid of squirrels. Feed your birds rodent food. So I've been trying to bring squirrels because I want to watch squirrels, and I bought rodent food because I didn't want to give them something unhealthy. And in a weird turn of events, the birds have come in and chased the squirrels away. And the birds are feasting on the squirrel food. And squirrels they were there for the first few days, and now they're gone. So I have all these birds that are like sitting in this flower pot that I used as a squirrel feeder. And they're all just like all different birds, like communing together, all different varieties. They'll all be in there together at the same time. Eating. But I love that camera. I saw that before, Katie, and I just think that's so cool because I don't know a lot about birds. I'm usually taking pictures and sending them to my friend Heather, who's my bird expert friend, but this will be a lot easier and it would save her a lot of responding to texts.
What is this thing?
This is, oh my god, this marketing video is pretty interesting. They're pre-ordering through Kickstarter. They are doing very, very well. They're at $1.5 million of their $100,000 goal. And with 29 days to go, it does start. It's about $240. What is this ad? They put some real money in this ad.
This is amazing.
Nice.
Jeez, there's just like bird people in robes, and there's this older guy on rollerblades following the birds and dancing in his fanny pack and the music has to be amazing to this. But yeah, they hit $1 million in about 2 hours. For $174, that's 25% off the $235 retail. You can pick up one of these, and it will be delivered by March of next year. Ooh,
Am I gonna wait another year?
Oh no! All right. Well, I'll tell you what. In the meantime, we can strap a Wise camera to your bird feeder. Okay, Katie.
Sounds good. That'll
At
work
least
for a
we can
minute.
see that they're there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the first thing I thought about. I was like, oh, this is just like when like, hey, somebody's in your side yard, and it pops up on the thing, like that, like it's got that vibe. But I love that the AI is added to it too. So I wonder if we can. In the meantime, can we do an if this then that with a Wise camera that will pump it into AI and identify the bird, right? So
Yeah.
there's got to be something with that, because now there's got to be something to that. I'll ask ChatGPT. So I still have not done that recipe you showed me, by the way. Katie showed me this amazing thing on TikTok where it says, tell it, I'm going to ask you about my business in a couple of minutes, and then like ask me questions about my business. You answer it so it knows more. And I'm getting the thought process in line for that one. So my awesome thing of the week is voting. I got a sticker today. Woo. That's one of the nice things about not doing mail-in poll. I got my sticker, and I got to go see the fire engine. So they usually move it out. It was parked right in the garage. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I got to walk around it this time. But anyways, so and of course I was like, okay, I guess I got to do this. I don't even know. It's a primary election, so you're like, what's going on? And primaries are so like, who are these people? I have no idea. What is this position? And I knew these sites have come up before, and I wanted to make a little bit of more of a educated guess. And I didn't research too deep, other than kind of just looking at their platforms. But still, it's also just daunting. Like, what am I voting for, right? Like, you're surprised by this, like, they'll have a provision on there, and you're like. And, they're kind of worded to trick you, a little bit. We didn't have any of those, at least in my area this time. So I went to a site, and I know there's been a few of these probably, but I went to vote411.org. And it pretty accurately, from what I could tell, I think everything was on there that there was no surprises when I got to the ballot. But you plug in your street address, your city, your zip code, and it'll actually pull up what you're voting for. I will just do, let's see, I'm actually going to do here at the studio, which actually is not technically where I vote, but just as a kind of selection here, and I'm not going to, I guess my address is public here, but it doesn't really matter. So it'll step you through that. It'll tell you when your election is, which is today, May 16th here in Pennsylvania in the Pittsburgh area. It'll have your address. It'll have this. It'll tell you where your polling place is. Or this one actually says, or maybe it's loading in. Oh, it's still loading in. It'll ask you what party you're in, or all parties, or and which district do you think you're in. So like that. I didn't really know my school district, for instance. So I didn't have that. That is the one I mentioned, but I literally don't know my school district. So you'll save and you'll view the races, and it'll take you through there. So like I said, a lot of them were like justices for Supreme Court and stuff, right? And you can actually go in and compare the answers of everybody. It tells you what this is. So what does the Justice of Supreme Court Pennsylvania do, and what are the responsibilities? What's a comp controller? What's this? And they'll give you kind of the standard, like, this is their qualifications, this is their background, but also like they have their websites and their social media, so you could go to those and just kind of and this is not a endorsement. I'm literally just randomly hitting these up, but you can get an idea for it, and it gives you at least a little something more than what you probably would have otherwise, I suppose. And I guess you can, kick the names into Google and see if there's any news stories about them that can help you out too, or if you have any other kind of sources. But if you have any other kind of sources, I don't know if you're going to vote 411 for this. So, and when you're done, when you go through everything, it will actually, you kick in your email address, and it will send you, or you can just have it printed out, or however through this. You can have your quote unquote cheat sheet sent to you to print out to carry with you, because I think a lot of places they don't like you to have phones at the polling place. I heard that was a rule. I don't know.
I thought that was the case too, but I went in and asked them because I had this whole snafu where I turned it in and They
Yeah.
didn't like it. So I'm in the polling place. I'm like, I need my phone because I research these people, and they let me. They were like, yeah, that's cool. Take as long as you want.
I took a picture of the ballot the one time to remember what I voted for.
Yeah.
Because you don't know otherwise, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Especially
somebody
in an
was
election
like,
like this.
somebody was like, I don't think you can do that. I'm just like, I don't really like that. Doesn't seem. It's my own ballot. You know, if I'm taking a picture of somebody else's ballot,
Yeah.
that's a freaking problem and probably illegal. But anyways,
I got a picture of a ballot from today.
Oh yeah, did you?
Nice.
Yeah, there was a concern that like I said, what I thought was on the ballot was a little less than I expected.
Okay.
And when I was researching last night, and then that was my confirmation that everything that they said was on there,
Okay.
and not more, which made me feel better because I don't like to go in not researching.
And I imagine you should be able to take a picture of your own ballot at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, no. So vote411.org. Obviously, I don't know if you'll remember this your next election if you're in a different state, maybe that your primary might be coming up a little later than it is for here. Because I don't know how many things are running today. I just know it's Pennsylvania. So, and there's 50 options about how that runs and with their own variations on that, right? So it's really important to be informed, I think, when you do these. And this is really good, at least starting point to be at least somewhat informed when you do this. So definitely vote. Definitely research what you're voting. And do that. And there's other resources too. Like I found things. I get an email every once in a while, and none of it makes sense to me, to be quite honest. But you can get a regular email when they're in session of everything that the state house for Pennsylvania Senate. I don't know if it's both or one of them. It's a while ago I set it up, but it's all like you get in there and there's like a statement on it, but it's, it has the code HB216 or whatever it is. So if you're like, okay, what is actually happening? Because I went through it and I'm still kind of in this politically. I'm just like, okay, who's actually doing anything? We're all complaining about whatever, but who's actually doing something? And so there are options in there if you want to dig into that to records and see, hey, did the person I'm voting for actually do something, that they said they were going to do? Like you can really kind of dig in and do that because all that stuff's public, because it's the government and it's your government. So so that's the message I want to get into without getting too political with that. But just participate.
I used to work for the state House of Representatives, and I would watch the sessions while I was at work, just to keep aware of what's going on. And I learned the word germane and germaneness because of watching that. And it's like they're always talking about the germaneness, and I'm like, what in the world does that mean? And
it means does this matter to this topic or something?
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. So, it's probably a much overused than it needs to be a word out there.
Now I use that word all the time.
Oh, you use it all.
I do now that I know what it means.
It's educational. I love it. Brian, what's your awesome thing of the week?
I have a 2-for-1 deal.
Okay, all right.
Actually, kind of like a 4-for-1 deal, kind of, because one of them has to deal with 3 buildings. So I'm really excited. Yesterday was the beginning of Tourette's Syndrome Awareness Month, and Tourette's Syndrome is a disorder that I have, and recently, a couple years ago, I did a video for, it was actually with Doors Open Pittsburgh, and it was about the Gulf Tower. And while I was talking with one of the people who works there, they said that any random person can call in and request that they light the tower up for a specific cause. And they mentioned Kobe Bryant. At one point, they lit the tower up for him, and somebody just called in and she asked her boss, and their boss was like, yeah, sure. So I thought, why don't I try that? So I emailed her and I asked if they would light it teal for Tourette's Syndrome Awareness Month, for one day during the period, which is from the 15th of May through the 15th of June. And not only were they willing to do the Gulf Tower, but they said, we'll do Koppers building across the street as well. And when I asked the PA Tourette's Syndrome Alliance, they said, today is the day. So if you're in Pittsburgh, once the sun goes down, you'll be able to see it. And I thought, I'll go around and ask some other buildings. And I was able to get Fifth Avenue Place, which is the one with the Highmark sign. And they're going to light up teal as well. So now we have 3 buildings downtown that will be lit up teal for Tourette's Syndrome Awareness Month. And this happens a few other places. So Pittsburgh's joining the ranks of of Niagara Falls, which lights the falls up one day a year for Tourette's Syndrome Awareness Month. And there's a bridge, the Como Bridge in New York City, and that lights up teal as well. So Pittsburgh's going to be in good company. I'm excited about that. So that's your 3 for 1 in that regard.
And if you're on video with us, if you're not familiar, I just popped up pictures of each of the buildings so you can know what to look out for if you're not familiar with which one's the Koppers. I didn't know which one the Koppers was right off the bat. But and of course the golf tower, I think people are familiar with that one. Is usually the KDK. It was even listed here, the KDKA weather beacon.
Yeah,
I guess, and I guess this is when it's not in dedicated color mode, right?
Yeah, so it's usually the weather beacon, and then they'll light it up at certain times for different causes. Like I know they always do it for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and they do it for Memorial Day and different patriotic holidays. And another cool thing they do is they actually allow the Pittsburgh Pirates to control the golf tower during Pirate games, and every time the Pirates score a run, it will go black and gold, which is super cool. Does it kind of
flash a little bit?
It does, yeah. And it's one thing I just love about them is the fact that they treat their skyscraper as a community asset, not just a corporate. Yeah,
I love it.
It's so cool. So that's my one. I have another awesome thing too.
Wait. I want to digest this for a second. So I could call. So anybody can call.
Anybody can call.
Anybody can. I'm sure they get. I love to hear the rejected list.
Yeah.
First of all, that could be a Twitter account. That could be a podcast. I'm just putting that out there into the world. And now I just like coming out like, what can I call and ask? So, anyways,
it's so cool. I emailed her. I can even make a connection. But
hey,
yeah. To me, it's easier to email than call. But
they probably don't want to share the rejected list.
Probably not. Probably not. Yeah.
That could be a fake golf tower list or something like that. Like we have a fake KDKA, fake Lebo and stuff. All right. What's your second one?
My second one is this planner that I use. So I really. I know everybody is into Google Calendar, which is great, and I do use it to an extent for setting up meetings and things like that. But for some reason, Google Calendar just doesn't work for me. I can't. My mind can't process the whole week or month. Like it's great for an individual day. So
I can understand that, especially I've seen Katie's calendar, and it is a rainbow of busyness. So
mine isn't always. It used to be that way. Not as much. I'm not as busy as you, Katie, now. At least I used to be busier, but it's easy for me to miss things and double book, and that's something I used to do all the time is double book, and I would have to like rearrange things. Yep. So I needed a planner. And the problem with like the physical planner, which I liked better because I could write in it, was I would always, sometimes that you just are in a place where you don't have it. And then people ask, are you free? And you're like, I don't know. And then you make commitments that you later regret. So what they have is they have a PDF version that you can sync with different apps. And this one, what I use.
Who is this?
It's called Passion Planner.
Okay.
And the app that I use that syncs with it is called Good Notes. And it's great because it looks exactly like a regular planner, and you can use your Apple Pen to actually write like hand notes.
This is a separate device. You're not using your iPad.
No, I am.
Oh, this is in your iPad.
Yeah, so you Good Notes, you download it right onto your iPad.
I see, okay.
And you can hand write, and you can you can zoom in and write into the things just like a regular planner.
Okay.
And it's great because you can add pages. So if you want to create notes, you can actually add a page after this that's just blank for writing notes. And these tabs up here, you can actually, like if I click, try to move it this way, make it easier for me to say. If I say, like if I want to go to June, I can click the June tab.
Oh, it's like a tabs on the side.
Yeah.
Okay, like it was a folder.
And it'll go to June.
With markers, okay.
And if I'm in May, once I switch through, I can select. So today's the 14th through the 20th.
So it has the whole metaphor like it was a physical planner. It looks like.
Yeah, it's exactly like a physical planner. But the Passion Planner in particular, and this is why I really liked it in the physical version, is it's set up to where you can. It's really goal oriented. So at the beginning of the month, you can create like goals. Like they have you create like
Was that a full whiteboard? Yeah. Is that an idea cloud of some sort?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So they have like on the one side, it's your goals like 3 months, a year, 3 years, lifetime goals, and then you pick one of them and you move it to the other side and you break it down what all you need to do for that. And they have you like each month at the beginning of the month, they have a thing where you create a goal for the month and break it down to see what all you need to do.
So I'm looking through the websites, but passionplanner.com, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to digest. I'm trying to digest this metaphor. So it's the app, and they have like I'm looking at these free downloads. Like so, you said that there's PDFs. Like these are already mapped out. You're writing on top of like basically planner pages. Like I see a 30-day journal challenge. I see a 7-day self-love challenge, 17-month dated monthly printable calendar and things like that. This is something that can go onto your iPad to be used in GoodNotes, you said?
Yeah, GoodNotes is the app.
So I'm also trying to see but then they also are selling physical planners as well?
So,
like, what am I looking at here?
So their main thing is physical planners, and that's what I started with them, was a physical, like, book planner. But then they sell a digital version of that book planner where it's the full planner for the whole year.
So there is a fully physical paper version of this, and like they have 1-to-1 paper and digital versions depending on what you want, or I guess converting back and forth, right? Yeah,
because I was originally the paper, but like I said, I would forget at home. And what's great is if you get the digital planner, you can pull it up. They have an app on your phone, GoodNotes. You can pull it up there, and you can also pull it up on your computer. So what I'll do at the beginning of the week is I'll pull up my month calendar on the computer screen, and I'll put my tablet right below it, and I can look at the days to fill in the times for the week. So that way I can, schedule out my week, because I'll schedule like chores into the time slots and things like that as well. So it's just like, it's so nice because it's the best of both worlds, because that's the convenience of Google, is you can, look at it on your phone or look at it anywhere, and on the go, you can type in notes, because you can even do a text type in on this as well. So this allows me to have that compatibility that you get with a Google Calendar, being able to see it anywhere and not have to, I don't have to remember the tablet. If I leave it at home, it's not a big deal. But on the flip side, I can write in it like a regular planner. I can take those notes. At the end of the month, they do a recap, like what did you learn this month? What are good things to happen? It's a very positive, and that's another thing. It's a very positive thinking calendar. It's always about positivity and it's about planning, but also being positive towards yourself, which is a great asset, because it's so easy to get down on yourself for what you missed. And this really focuses a lot on what you've accomplished and what you're proud of this month, or what you've learned. And even with the things you didn't get, instead of just being like, oh, what'd you screw up? It's like, well, what can you improve on in the coming month? It's very like positive thinking, and it helps frame your mind in that way. They have each week they have, for instance, I'll pull up May again this week. This week right here at the bottom, you'll see there's a quote right here. So they have positive quotes. They have good things that happened this week you write in. At the beginning of the month, they even have a list where you put down places you'd like to go, people you want to see, things you want to learn. And then it's just a really awesome piece of equipment. And and I'm on and off the way my brain works. Sometimes I fall off the wagon with the planner. Yeah. But the great thing is at least my main things for the month are always on there. So the week, when I'm on with the week, it's a great thing. But even if I have a week where I'm like not on and I'm off, at least I can go back to that monthly calendar and everything's there, and it all syncs.
I like that. Katie, you're a planner nut. I feel like I said a planter nut, but I don't know. What do you think about this?
I actually owned a Passion Planner when they did their Kickstarter. I don't even know how many years ago. So I had an OG Passion Planner. It was too wide open. It was too big of an open world for me. That's what I mean. Like it's fantastic. It just you try a bunch of things and see what works best for you, and it just that happened to be too. I needed some but I think having the app plus the planner would have made a world of difference at that point. But it was like just a free world. I was like, what? When? I need someone to tell me when to start this. Like,
Yeah, you need direction. And it sounds like they've kind of developed that in a little bit more since because that was early days that you were a part of it, right? So
yeah, it seems like it's a lot more. Yeah.
But they've kind of changed things, and like I loved their philosophy from day one, and that's why, like I said, I originally bought the first one because it was great, and like the whole like you said, the positivity behind it, and I'm like, this is nice that they have an app now. I'm like,
Yeah, it's great, especially like because the way mind works is I automatically jump to like the you screwed up, you didn't get this done, you forgot this, you know. So it's great to put that into your mind.
I'm trying to see when was the Kickstarter here.
It looks like there's still one up, but it's been. I know I've had this thing. I probably can't. I wonder if I have the original email.
For our first, excuse me, our first Kickstarter in 2013, and our last one in 2019. So I mean that's the thing when they find success, like they kind of use Kickstarter as a listen. Mattel does crowdfunding campaigns.
Really?
They advertised a crowdfunding campaign for a WCW Nitro set that Mattel was putting together. They advertised it on WWE programming. So, that's where, like, hey, we're going to do, I think they did one for, like, a Transformers Unicron, like a full-sized Unicron, because they never really put a good Unicron out from the movie all those years ago, right? So, so even, like, Mattel uses those to be like, will people buy this thing? And if they don't, oh, well, we didn't, like, make 1 million of these things that were sitting in a warehouse somewhere that we're going to have to melt down, right? So, like, it's turned into a big business model,
that's a cool
for
idea.
things like that. And like I said, like I'm looking through this, and like even if you go to their page, they do have like right on it, buy a passion planner. Like it's a consistent, which is again forward you to. And now we have a store. Obviously, they have developed it literally 10 years, developed into their own like full-on company that's not as dependent on Kickstarter, but very cool that you can build on a platform like that.
Another cool thing about this, if I can real quick, is when you click to write in, not only does it have the text version, but you can have it has highlighters built in different colored pens and things like that. So for someone like me, because people often talk about, I like to highlight my planner, and I do highlight some stuff, but I'm not going to be able to remember all of those things, and I'll lose them. So having it all built in digitally just makes it so easy for me.
I like it. Well, thank you for sharing that. Passionplanner.com if you want to get started with that. Well, you know what? You already got started with it. Our friends at Slice on Broadway, New York City style. Yinzer May, Beachview, Carnegie, East End, and North Hills, and the newest location down to the south side of Works. I know a lot of you guys out there checking out our good friends supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza as Brian is munching away right now. There you go. There's your testimonial. There you go. Thumbs up. Thank you again, Slice on Broadway, for supporting the show. All right, we got some stuff to chat about. Do you want to talk about AI stories, or do you want to talk about free TVs?
I think they're both pretty interesting. I was reading through all of these, so I'm game for either one. The only thing I will say about the, I'll let you decide, and then I'll.
No. What do you want to say? You're on your tip of your pizza-filled tongue.
The Wendy's one with AI. To me, the more interesting thing than the AI, which I think the AI story is interesting in and of itself, but I think the societal conversation around it is even more interesting. About eventually, I think things like this are going to lend to the real need of the universal basic income, because a lot of people now are using, or at least they were before the pandemic. I know the labor market has somewhat changed since then, but people were using fast food jobs to survive, not just as like their second job. They were using it as their primary source of income. So as these jobs are disappearing, people are going to be able to, they're going to need to be able to survive. And I think it could be a good thing. Everyone talks about the doom and gloom about these jobs going away, but can you imagine if you got paid to just do what you want? Like, you know what I mean? Like you could follow your passions and things like that.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I think there's a lot more conversation around universal income for something like this that's going to be in front of that. But anyways, but back to like the main crux of the story there. So you mentioned Wendy's. Listen, we can go check this out. it's in Columbus that they're doing
Oh,
this.
really?
But apparently they're testing an AI chatbot. Whoop, there it is. According to The Verge, that takes your drive-through order. So to the point where they say the AI model will know what a biggie bag and JBC means. And by the way, I want to call out other podcasts that were talking about this story. That's like, I've never heard it called a JBC. As a very frequent and unfortunately too regular Wendy's patron, like JBC is the parlance. Okay, that's you just do that. And they say that back to you too. So, and I believe Wendy's is stationed near or in Columbus, Ohio. So it kind of makes sense that they're starting it out over there.
Their version of Super Sheets.
Wendy's Fresh AI. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, where is that super Wendy's kind of situation? Kind of thing. Yeah, like our Super Sheets kind of situation. Although it is funny because I want to go back to the Altoona Sheets because I remember like everything that we saw there is basically rolled out by now.
Oh, yeah.
For last time I went there, which was several years ago. So I'm curious what they're testing now. There was actually, I did a podcast with Innovation Works that talked with the people that do innovation at Sheets.
Oh, really?
It's I don't think it's up anymore, but if you can find I can't remember what the show was called. It was like Innovation Cafe or something like that that we did. But anyways, but yeah, it was like I was kind of geeking out a little bit at that. I'm like,
their scan and go is incredible.
Oh yeah,
that's so great. They have the Amazon convenience stores where you can just walk in, grab your stuff, and leave.
Yes.
To me, the scan and go is just as simple.
Mm-hmm. And not
simple.
as confusing and not like, did I do this right?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. The problem is when it's like we go in and grab a bunch of drinks and Missy's sitting there holding all this stuff. I was like, they have bags up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So. But anyways, so it's an ordering experience. They are going to have an employee that will monitor the AI-powered drive-through when it starts in June, so to make sure customers aren't swearing at it. Probably. They'll also have the option to speak with the human if the AI can't get their order right. So I can't wait to see how this works at about 2:15 a.m. on a Saturday night when all the drunks are coming through to get some JBCs and biggie bags. Also, I am going to find myself near Columbus the second week of July, so I feel like I need to make a run to Wendy's in Columbus while we're at it to see how this works if it's still working. So. And I also wonder, like, I how many times we've gone to like we'll do these trips for some of these shows in Chicago, hit Wendy's after, and it's like each one of us is given an order, and we'll pull up, and the other person yells out the back window. Is it going to assess all of that?
Ooh,
Like there's
question.
so many ums and ahs and questions and that seems really kind of maddening. This reason whenever I do like a Taco Bell or a Starbucks order, I can completely do the window, but there's so many options when you're doing coffee, for instance. Like I hate trying to convey, no, I want that with no ice. No, I want this. I want the diet or the zero, or something like that. Like the game of telephone from you to the speaker to the person on the side to the register is broken half the time just because, and that's why I'm like, no, I just want to tell an app what I'm doing, and I'll drive up the window. I don't care, but I just want one less point of failure.
That's so true.
Is my thing.
Because I think like McDonald's, when I would go there, I used to go there more often for like, coffees. If I was in the drive-through or whatever, I would go through there, and they are determined to put a flavor in that coffee.
Are they?
Determined, because I don't like any flavors. I'm like boring. I just like,
It's
if
all
I get like
sitting
a
at
nice
the bottom.
latte,
It's all sitting at the bottom.
every time. They're like, you're gonna get a flavor and you're gonna like it.
Katie, what do you think? Are you up for talking to the Robits to order your junior bacon cheeseburgers here?
I'm willing to risk it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. To Columbus. To Columbus.
We're on it. We're out.
When's the Arnold coming back?
Yeah.
Anyways, so there you go. That's what's happening there. Other AI news. There was one. Oh, is this? I didn't put a title on this one. This is the one that will take your raw recorded. It's called Gling.ai. This is a little more me. I heard them talking about it on Office Hours Global. like earlier, I think late last week. So this one is for video. And I think there's a little bit of a price for it. It's well, I don't know if it's built for YouTube creators for the most part. But this is one of those. Oh, I keep forgetting I have an extra button here, and just keep landing on Brian. So they talked about the AI will take your video, cut silences and bad takes for you, so you can focus on your YouTube video. Now this is something that I love using CapCut. I talked about a couple weeks ago. CapCut on the phone will actually take out ums and ahs and silence breaks, right? And identify those. So you upload your raw recording, edit and review, and export. You can export to good formats like a Final Cut project, Resolve, Adobe Premiere, or just like a straight audio or video file or subtitle file. So you have a lot of flexibility here. I think it's free for the first one, and the pay is like it's I think it's kind of a tip jar kind of situation. So your first video is 100% free, then they charge $5 per video export from there. But it's if you're doing a video that you're going to be making more than $5 on, maybe this is worthwhile. Again, I think this is more for online creators than it is for somebody working on corporate work or something like that. I can see when we're taking, I could see much like I do with the CapCut. If we were taking like clips from this show and we want to kind of shorten them down and take the bits out of it or something like that, or the ums I just said, like that would make a lot of sense if we were, our channel was doing, getting monetization or something, right? Like if you're at that point where you get monetization on YouTube and you want to just shorten that process, you already know what that process is, but you're just like, oh, this will take care of it. That makes complete, absolute sense to use something like this if you're an individual content creator, I think. So, but I don't know, Katie, what do you think of this process?
I love it. I think this is great. Like this is nice, and I'm so excited because there's so many options now to do stuff like this that you don't have to suffer through. And we have this conversation a lot, like what is the better, what's the value of things, and like how much is our time worth to cut out this because you listen to a podcast and sometimes you have guests go blah or yourself. I do a lot of and like being able to just like clean that all up without having to like sit there and do that is just, I love it.
Yes, absolutely. Anything that just takes that little bit of like, rough work out of it, so you can get to the actual creative process. So, Brian, I know you're doing content for PGH museums. Is this something you think would be helpful for you?
Probably not, because I do a lot of retakes on things.
But that would take care of it.
But the thing is I'm pretty particular, and I don't think it would be as useful for me, but I also am not doing a lot of live stuff as well. What I think I'm really excited about this for is a lot of times on YouTube, you'll see somebody who's a really talented videographer, and they're not putting out a weekly show. They're putting out maybe tourism videos or things like that, and they're kind of lazy in the final production, and you'll see these like huge glaring errors. At one point, a dog appears because they cut the scene and they didn't do a second take and things like that. So you'll hear a lot of that kind of stuff in there. So I'm excited
because they're probably just trying to get it done on top of whatever else they're doing in their life. So they're not taking the 100% like look over it again, like you were doing the client project where you're going to watch the video like multiple times to make sure there's nothing left in there, right? So like that kind of situation.
So I'm excited, because I think that will help with those situations. A lot of times the stuff that I'm doing, it's narration with a video, and I'm not actually in the video, so it's really easy for me to just do a retake instead of
right. This does seem more like the you're on video kind of person talking headish kind of thing. I mean, there is a bit of like, I'm looking at like some of the examples are like, here's some here's some layovers, and here's this and this and this. So I think it takes care of part of the process.
Oh, for
then
sure.
You like, maybe it is something where maybe you could this is like what Katie and I talked about, like she just mentioned, like finding the use cases, right? Well, if I take this and it does this to the video and takes out my bad takes, and I did it a couple times, and I'm at that point, I trust it, and it's on the same thinking I am, then that takes out at least, and then it'll export out into your editor, and then you do the rest of the process, right? So like if it's that kind of situation, you know, like for me, it's okay, send the thing over to CapCut on my phone because it doesn't do the same function on the Mac for some reason.
For sure.
And then it's like, then I'll kick that back over here, then because I've taken part of the process. The thing it does is more important than the time it takes to take the file into the thing and out. You know
where it might be helpful for me is the Art Talk podcast that we do, because that one's video and it's a conversation, and that would be a place where I would definitely use something like that to get it out.
Absolutely. This is absolutely something I can see, like a podcast type thing, especially if you're just doing audio, because unfortunately, or if you're something that's okay with jump cuts. So
yeah, and I don't,
but
I take B-roll footage.
Absolutely.
So if I had that kind of cut, that would still be quick for me to then, I could see where it's broken up and I could throw that B-roll in.
And if it gives you, like, you know, let's say you operate in Premiere, I don't know what you use, but you got Premiere, you'll see the cuts.
Exactly.
Like it doesn't say, it didn't just, I mean, you can spit out an MP4. It didn't just spit out the MP4 and you're just like, okay, I got to go see where the cuts are and look for them. You know, it's like literally you'll be able to see it on the timeline and say, okay, I got to put a piece here, okay, B-roll, B-roll, B-roll.
Exactly.
Boom, you know, like, and that could really speed you up. So that's how, those are the sounds I make when I edit, Katie. I don't know if you heard those me quietly muttering those sounds to myself when I worked on a video 2 weeks ago in the hotel. Anyways, but yeah, so it's Kling.ai, maybe a useful tool. We'll see. I have not tried this character AI. I heard about it. And actually, I can't get into it right now because there's a wait time. But supposedly, it trains on characters, and you can have a chat with those characters. So, yeah, I'm in line now. We'll see if I can poke at this here in a little bit because I'm in a waiting room. Let me bring up one. Can I bring up one that scared the crap out of me that I installed and then immediately uninstalled when I realized what I was about to do? This was mentioned somewhere, and I clicked through and found it. Okay, I'm going to tell you the pitch. Then I'm going to tell you how it tells you it does this, and let me know when the alarms go off. So it's Rewind.ai. It's a kind of a nice idea. What if you had perfect memory? Ask Rewind about anything you've seen, said, or heard. Okay, all right. If you've seen, said, or heard anything, you know, and then it makes all of that searchable. It compresses all that information. It's all good to go. And you're like, okay. You know what it does? It screen records everything on your computer that you save, view, or type.
Oh, wow.
It's a screen recorder.
No.
And then it takes all that stuff and digests it completely securely. I'm sure there won't be any sort of problem. You know, because I'm completely going to send all of my information to this company that it is saying it does utilize Apple Silicon, so it doesn't tax your CPU while it's recording. That's a good thing for them to say. Let's see what it says about security here. Stored locally, full control. Okay, but you got me. Okay, so suppose all this AI stores on your computer locally. It's not going up to a server. But again, do I trust you? Do you like the idea, and how much does it scare you? And also, it feels like that's starting today, you know. So I need to run this like forever and then I have a stopping point on that, don't I? Because, you know, it'd be nice if you could take everything and, you know, I thought it was going to start importing like my email and my social media and stuff, which that actually I kind of want, right? That's all public for the most part. Not email, but still, like if you're in a trustworthy source, like suck all that stuff up. Your email already reads crap, and you know your emails and sends it to the calendar and everything, vice versa, right? So, like, can we pull all that stuff in to be like, hey, when did I visit Wisconsin last? You know, and it pulls up everything like that. I guess your photos kind of already does that, but still, like, I think like there could be a nice holistic thing that does something like that. So I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I don't know. I mean, I need that for life, not necessarily my computer.
Not just on my computer, right? But also how much of our, like, some of us, their entire life is on our computers. But then it doesn't add your phones, and it's just a computer. So it's like I there's gaps here. Plus, I have multiple computers. So is that going to marry together, you know, between the two of them? Because I'm just swapping computers, and, you know, like, I don't know. It's not for me, and the screen reader just scares the crap out of me. So
yeah, Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I would need it. I think it would. I agree. That does kind of scare me too. And the thing is everything that anytime they say something is safe, someone always finds a way to hack it.
Well, yeah, and nothing's safe. I mean, let's be clear about that. Anything out there is hackable at this point. So I think you take a risk.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Katie?
Don't like it.
Don't like it? Nope.
I'm not sitting here saying that things are not being documented, recorded, or whatever. I'm sure between all the technology around us, but like I don't see a need for this.
It's like you're inviting the information vampire into your home.
Yeah.
Well, he can sit outside and stare at you through the window, right?
Get bits and pieces of my life instead of
yeah. They already do it. So, anyways, by the way, character.ai, I am in. So here to give you an idea about this. So we can talk to Elon Musk. We can talk to a debate champion. We can talk to a pair programmer, somebody named Stella, who's not your AI assistant, it says. Or, you know what? Let's try this. Let's talk to Super Mario 64 Mario. Hello, it's me, Mario. Are you ready for an adventure? Yes. Do you like podcasts? Let's see what happens. and see what and I guess they train these on the characters. Oh, I've never listened to, I'm not doing the accent, to one before. You think you can introduce me to one of your podcasts? I feel like it's just a chat bot with an offensive accent. Yes, it's the AwesomeCast. We talk about technology in Pittsburgh. Let's see what happens here. I'm just a guest right now, so that sounds interesting. Maybe we should listen to it together. You have a podcast, The Player?
Wow.
Best of friends.
Oh. Mario, I love you.
I've started playing with.
Oh, stop it. You're making me blush. Smiley face, blushy face. There you go. So you can go have a conversation with Mario. But yeah, and they have like famous people that here's the list of famous people. You got I got Mark Zuckerberg. They got several Elons in here. Henry Cavill, I can ask him about making computers. Let's see, we got a soccer player, Ed Sheeran, Tim Cook you can talk to, Jimmy Fallon, Keanu Reeves, Kanye West. No, let's skip that one.
They brought Stephen Hawking's back from the dead.
Is it in there? Oh, yeah. There it is. There he is. Yeah, that's why he's a drawing. You got a Bill Gates. Oh, Dr. Phil. Let's go. Oprah. Yes. Britney Spears, but no picture. So Paul McCartney you can talk to. Lady Gaga. Yeah, so you can have a lot of fun with this probably. I don't know how good it is. I don't know. I'm sure you can. I am Taylor Swift. Glad to be talking to you. Katie, what do you want to say to Tay Tay?
Aw. Poor Tay Tay. Let's ask Tay Tay. Ask Tay Tay about her cats.
How are your cats? Okay, here we go. It's really thinking about this. My cats, Meredith and Olivia, are happy and healthy. They got to celebrate their 5th birthday yesterday, and I gave them a little treat of catnip and a small toy, and they are playing. There's a lot of run-on sentences here from playing with it. They're all played out from playing with it, and I cannot wait to see them. I miss their purse so much.
Close.
I'm sold.
I totally buy that.
I'm sold.
100% her.
Jeez. C.ai. Yeah, I think that's it. So if you want to try it, character.ai, play with that a little bit and let me know what trouble you get into. Or don't tell me. So what else do we got here? Who wants a free TV? Speaking of letting the vampire in the home. So this is reported everywhere, but we got it here via Engadget. Telly, and I believe this is from the people that do, is this the Pluto people, is it, or the Freevee people? Company chief, the company chief I'm not saying that name, co-founded Pluto TV, so he's familiar with this. So the idea is if you sign up for this, you get on the wait list now. This is going to be later this year. They'll be rolling out. You'll get a 55-inch television. And if you see this, there's a big bar. There's an extra screen that's going to go underneath the television that is always on. And here it's showing like you can order Pizza Hut on it. There's bet lines and there's your team and your scores. I've seen stocks coming up on this and weather. So it's informative. So it's not just a giant ad bar, but there's definitely ads on it that'll be up all the time. So I signed up for this. And you have to install an app, and also the app installed on my Mac. That was interesting. But like in a little like window, I don't know. I have the new operating system, so I don't know if just phone apps are now just installing on Mac OS. I'm not up on that. But they ask you a lot of questions, and I feel like I've seen this before. I'm trying to find the site because everything is just the articles about it, and I'm trying to find the actual site itself here. But So you're going to give it a credit card, a credit card. And the purpose of the credit card, from what I understand, is if you break the terms of service, you have to have this always on. You cannot modify this. This needs to be in the living room of your home, right? Where everybody's on. If you break those terms of service, they will charge you $1,000 for this television. So, there is some incentive not to do this, or not to mess with it, let's say. So it's Telly, Telly, and again, I'm just finding articles and not the site itself. There is an app you can download. Don't download the wrong one, because there's another one, and I didn't know what it was, and it's very suspicious. So. If you choose to opt out of data collection, you'll either have to return the TV or pay the presumed cost of the TV plus soundbar setup. Yeah, there's a soundbar with it. So, they said $500 for the card, if you do that. So, freetelly.com is the site, if you want to check that out. This reminds me of, and I don't know if you guys ever caught this in the late '90s. I think this was Windows 98 era. There was a computer you could get. And again, it was waitlisted and we could never get in on it because we were like, we really need to upgrade our computer. Let's do this. We need to get on the interwebs. And it was a computer that could get you on the internet, ran Windows, but there was like a border around all four sides of the computer that you couldn't get out of that ran ads. And that's why it was free, right? Again, never able to get past the wait list on it. I never know what happened to it. I couldn't even find it when I was looking it up. I don't know. Katie, would you accept a free ad bar for a kick-ass $500 4K 55-inch soundbar TV?
No, that's not how to get me.
No?
I barely use the TV I have here. I am this guy.
Yeah, you're on the phone. Yeah, what about you, Brian?
I don't think so. I mean, I've had the same TV for about 10 years and it's still going strong. It's
you couldn't use an upgrade.
It's a 1080. It's got like the glass screen. It was back with the 1080 LED with the glass screen. It's a Google Smart TV before Chromecast.
Wow.
Yeah, and the picture's great.
Does it even still work on the Smart TV side at that?
No. I have an Apple TV attached to it.
Yeah. That's what I figured was going to happen with some of those. So.
And it's funny because it takes forever to turn on. It's like you click turn. I mean, not forever.
Because it boots because it's a Google TV, right?
Yeah, it's forever for us. Like back in the day it wasn't. But like it's like, and it's really funny because if you listen to HBO Max before you turn the TV off, when you turn the Apple TV on the TV at the same time, it's loading and it's got this intense music in the background because the HBO Max app is still up and it's got the preview screen going. So it's like now it's like a real intense turn on, which is pretty great. I will say though, even though I wouldn't go in with the free TV because I worry about like power outages. Are they gonna like understand that?
Well, it's like certain uptime or something like that. There is a camera on it, by the way.
Oh, see, I don't like that either.
Well, the camera is for they're at least attaching features to it because some of the newer TVs have cameras on them for stuff.
Okay.
But they have Zoom calling is supposed to be built into this thing. They have a game room kind of things with what this says 40 games with arcade classics and stuff. And I love that the bar so it's got this motion it looks like it's got more or less a Kinect built in. Kind of situation.
Okay.
It got your music. It's got fitness. It's got a voice assistant. It's got a motion tracking fitness programs that are included in it. So they're really kind of selling this thing for me.
I actually like the bar on the bottom. I actually am a big fan of that because to me that's just like an Echo Show in the room.
Oh yeah,
and I like the idea because I use my Echo Show, and that's the one I was telling you that is defiant in my bathroom. I have a little Echo Show. It has the thing closed. Yeah,
absolutely. I kind of like that additive screen as long as it doesn't interrupt the programming. I'm probably going to mostly use an Apple TV. I don't care how smart this thing is.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as that is unimpeded, then I don't care if there's weather at the bottom or something like that. I'd probably turn off all the stocks and sports scores or something, but because that's annoying. The only reason sports updates are still on my phone with Google is so I know oh no, the Pirates game just ended. I better not go downtown. So then that's it. So anyways, real quick tips and we'll get out of here. You can uninstall your COVID exposure notification apps because they turned them all off along with the COVID has officially ended apparently in the eyes of technology and the government. So they gave me a notification on it. So I don't know if you guys got that too on your phones. So you got that, Katie? Okay.
Yeah.
I just went and deleted those. I went in the exposure, the notification section on the settings, and it said inactive. I'm like, okay, guess we're done with this. And also, I was sad to see the Facebook Messenger app for the Apple Watch is going away at the end of May. And this gives me the question of what the hell is happening if the Apple Watch is doing so well and everybody I know has it. I know that's anecdotal. Why is everything going away? Why am I getting less functionality? Why are the app makers going away? Pokemon went away a couple years ago, annoyed me. And this is annoying because how much of my conversation happens on Facebook Messenger. Yeah. So, and even as it is, even with the app, you couldn't voice respond to it. I don't think so. There's a lot of things you couldn't do with it.
Yeah, their app was never very good.
No, that's probably maybe goes along with it. So, and I know it's probably a percentage that they say they don't need to support because not enough people use it. Well, it's what did you tell enough people about it? Do you know you can get this app? Do you know what apps are on your watch? Because they usually automatically install. What, my banking app? What am I going to do with that? Right? I don't feel like there's been. I feel like there's been a miss on both sides on that kind of thing. So, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. So, just a couple heads up there. Brian Crawford, what can people go check out? What you're working on?
pghmuseums.org. Check it out and stay tuned. This summer, I'm releasing a new podcast. So.
You said that. I thought you were going to say a new album. It felt like the same vibe. It really is the same vibe.
It is, yeah.
Coming out. Hot one off the press.
That's right.
Get your subscriber button ready. Do I have a podcast player? Thank you, Mario. Sorry, I'm also watching. I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 times last week, the new one, and I'm just fascinated by the Zune right now, just in general. So the Zune is a big hook in that. If you haven't, so spoiler alert. Anyways, Katie, you watched it the first time with me.
I've only seen it once.
Yes. I tell you what, it's just as good the third time. It really is.
Oh, I bet.
It really is. A little less cryy because you know it's coming, but still a little bit.
Yeah.
So, Katie, what's going on with you?
I don't know. I'm going to Jackson, Michigan tomorrow.
But
in a couple of days. Tomorrow.
The Michigan Speedway. That's the important part.
Yeah, that's the cool part. Beyond that, it's just funny because Jackson.
We can go to the waterfall again.
Yeah. Go have snacks at the waterfall.
See if they've updated the music. There's this thing called the Cascades, where it's like a cascading waterfall that they installed in Jackson. Looks like it's been there 100 years or something. But they have a light music show every night apparently.
Nice.
So it's I don't know, what was it, $5-10 to get in? it's worth it. It's a fun little thing. So it's a little guilty pleasure when we go to Jackson. So
Nice.
there you go. Kate Marie PGH on the Instagram, right? In the
Yep.
in your adventures from the week. We'll see what trouble we get into.
Yeah.
Definitely
Jackson, Michigan.
can't be as much mud as we experienced in Wisconsin a couple weeks ago. So that'll be
Did
interesting.
you ever clean your boots?
No. I didn't even clean my tripod, and I used it for the recital this weekend. So I just put it on the desk, and I'm like, boop. I'll wipe that off afterwards. Sorry about that. So I figure it'll get knocked off out on the track, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Most of my tripods have a bit of desert dust on them. If you look around at my good tripods, I think this one that we use here, because it's partially broken, so we use it in the studio. But anyways, thank you at Sorgatron to see my adventures, including just pictures of my dog eating a pup cup from a Dunkin' today. If you need your dose of fuzzy chihuahua, I got it. I got you, okay? Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back next week. Probably have Chilla back with us. Probably Katie will tell us about something that we saw on the Speedway. And I think I already have my awesome week for next week. So we'll see you guys next time. You have been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at Sorgatron.